You ever had an encounter with somebody, especially when it comes to women, and you were just immediately, it just was a clash there where you was like, I don't know who she is or whatever, but I don't like her. Y'all know women, we have that like instinct or that thought about us when we meet somebody. It's just like, she just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like how she talking or whatnot. I had something like that happen to me this weekend. I went out and I went out. We went to eat, and at the restaurant, the young lady said to me, she said something real slick. I think I was asking her about something that was on the menu, and she was like, I mean, well, what do you think it tastes like? She came off real funky. And immediately I was like, now, wait a minute, Now, we live in South Florida, right? I live in Miami, so we are used to the rudeness. As a matter of fact, a lot of us just deal with the disrespect and the rudeness because of the fact that we know, I think we like number 3 in the world. So you can pull up to a McDonald's. I done pulled up to a McDonald's and the girl on the phone with her man. And I'm like, ma'am, can you take the order? And she like, wait a minute. And I'm like, honey, I asked her, I said, did you fill out the application for this job or did somebody force you to take the job? And she looked at me and she rolled her eyes and she came back and she took the order. What? Just like that. So we're so used to it here in Miami. I hear a lot of people, and I've been seeing this thing where they like, oh, you live in Florida. No. I live in Miami. It's a whole different vibe when we say you live in Miami. Born and raised here in Miami. Born in Jackson Memorial Hospital. A true Floridian or a true Miamian, as we say, right? And so we're used to the rudeness, but afterwards I was like, I said it to her because I've been having intent to be able to say to people if they, if I feel disrespected or anything like that. I've made it my job to not wait until later and think about it, but I made it my job to address it right then and there so you can like get it together. And so the young lady said, I said, well, was that necessary? And she looked like shocked, like, oh my gosh, she calling me out. I said, I mean, I don't understand. I asked you a question. You work here. This is your menu, right? This is the menu that you have for the restaurant. This is who you're representing, right? This is who's paying you. So when a customer is sitting here and I'm asking you about the menu, I didn't expect for that response to be so disrespectful and rude. And she looked and she said, all due respect, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I came off real crazy. I have a strong personality. Y'all, I know y'all done heard women say, had a friend, family member say, I know I got a strong personality. And, sometimes I just pop off, And I said to her, but I didn't say anything for you to pop off. I just asked you about this particular dish on the menu. So, you know what I mean? And she said, she said, you're right. So I was already dealing with something and I just let it spew over. My apologies. I need my job, or whatnot. And I told her, I said, I would not go and do that to you because I know you need your job. Most people who are irritable or, probably burned out or whatever, that is, those are the ones that really need a job, but the job probably is not what they really want. You know what I mean? So I was telling her that, but I said, but stop using, you have a strong personality. You might as just say I'm masculine because, that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about like, I got a strong, what does the strong personality mean? It's, what it remind me of? Years ago, like 20 years ago, a old friend of mine was a thick girl, in Miami. She was thick, beautiful girl or whatever, but she was thick, we call thick. And she was pregnant and she went to the doctor and, I don't know if y'all say it, but here in Miami we say, oh, she she had put on a lot of weight. So it was like, oh, she big boned. You know, she got big bone in her family, kind of everybody big bone, like tall, big, you know, thick. And the doctor said to her, because he was like, you're overweight. And she said, oh, I'm big boned. He said, well, what does that mean? And she said, I can tell you the doctor's name is Dr. Shapiro. And she said, because we all went to him. And she said, I'm big bone. He said, what, do you have dinosaur bones? Or do you know, what does that mean? And so he was like, you don't have dinosaur bones. You're not big bone. You don't have abnormal bones. You have regular bones. The bones is not the problem. It's the fat that you have that's allowing you to be big. So you're just big, not big boned. So I had to use that analogy because it's the same thing with strong. I'm strong-minded. I got a strong mind. I got a strong personality. I'm strong. She's strong-willed. All these different sayings that they have is more so to tell you that you're very masculine. You're very combative. You have a bad attitude. You're nasty. You're rude. Right? So that's really what's going on. And then so when someone calls you out on it, you say, oh, I'm sorry. You know, forgive me. I got a strong personality. Now, you can debate. You can have a discussion. You can have a conversation, right? But there's no excuse for you to have a quote unquote strong personality, strong attitude, strong-willed. I'm telling you what that means. That means that you're combative. If you're in any type of situation where you're communicating with people, don't tell them, don't use that as an excuse. Fix it. And if someone calls you out on it, fix it, because it's a problem and it's now spewing over into the real world. And everybody's not going to want to deal with your strong will or your strong mind or your strong attitude, because we take it as disrespect, combative, bad, horrible attitude, nasty. That's what people who don't know you take it as. And then, to be honest, the people that do know you, they are like, child, you can't even talk to her because she got a bad attitude. That is what they're saying. You take it as strong will. And the reason why I'm addressing it and I'm saying it this Monday morning is because we as Black, especially Black women, right? We have to get out of the mindset of making excuses for bad habits, bad manners, the way we carry ourselves. We cannot call ourselves classy or have self-love when we have a lot of poison inside us and it comes out, right? So we have to be able to, a part of addressing changing our lives and things like that, we have to focus on the inward. So that young lady was drop dead gorgeous. She was drop dead gorgeous, beautiful girl. And she was in a 5-star restaurant. But her attitude was very low vibration. It was, you know what I mean? It was really bad. And I wanted to check her. And I told her, I said, I'm saying this to you because you may come across somebody else. They're not going to be with that. But as my sister, from sister to sister, you better check that real quick. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to bring that forth because no one is going to keep dealing with your attitudes and your nastiness and things like that. You can't dress yourself up and put on the beautiful earrings, necklace, your clothing, all these different things, and then turn around and call yourself a lady. But you walk outside and you act like the end. You act like, I want to say the end, but you act like a man, an angry man. No one is going to see anything outside of that. So I wanted to bring this to you guys. I pray that this video helps you this Monday morning. And I will see you next video. Bye.